Buenos días, familias y amigos, y gracias. Gracias por estar aquí hoy, en esta hermosa hora, para nuestros graduados. Gracias por el amor, el tiempo y el compromiso que le brindaron a sus estudiantes y a todos los estudiantes de nuestro equipo. Y gracias por toda su colaboración con nuestra facultad. Espero que hoy te sientas muy orgulloso. Este también es su día. Gracias, familias. In class of 2024, we've now graduated 6 classes of Equipo Academy students, and today we will graduate our 7th. 7, people say, is a lucky number. You all are a lucky bunch, and we are lucky to have had you. I use the word experience when I talk about knowing you, because it has been an experience from 6th grade through 12th. I'm looking at Hansel as I say that. Because my time with each of you, from Brian to Sandra to Michelangelo to Kiara to Walter and Denilah and Annalise and Max, all of you, I could stand here and talk about each one of you. Each of you has been an experience to know that I will never forget. So when I thought about this moment and about this class and about what I would say to you before handing off my last stack of diplomas as a principal, I realized I didn't want to talk about famous lines from literature or take some pretty piece of life advice off a shelf to give you. I wanted to talk about you, about what we've learned from you, and about all the places you're going to go. You know, it's funny to be following Jason and Joel as your selected class speakers today, because the first time I really got to know the two of them was together at your 7th grade trip to class trip to Death Valley. Parents here will understand that if you have 7 children, the 7th one is going to get a little different treatment than the 6 that came before. So on our first trip to Death Valley, Mr. Smith, Miss Warbelow, Miss Roberts, and myself, we were all on high alert, making sure tents were perfect, taking turns guarding the group from coyotes and anything that would mess with them at night, walking people to the restroom by flashlight one by one anytime they asked us. By the time we got to your class, we weren't doing any of that. I remember pitching my tent, warning you all not to leave yours or make noise until sunrise, and then promptly going to sleep. So I was pretty annoyed when I woke up in the middle of the night and I hear voices out and about in the dark. Someone has to tell him, I hear outside my tent. And I zippered open the flap to see Jason and his whole crew standing there shining lanterns in my face. Mister, it's kind of windy, and Joel's about to fly away. I was so annoyed, yet I could hear this howling wind coming through the caverns all around us. And then I look over where their tent should have been, and all I can see is an 8-person Coleman flapping in the air, hot Cheetos and sour gummy worms falling out of the windows, and there's Joel, faithfully holding one corner of this flimsy shelter with one hand and a rope and a stake from the other. Obviously, we made it to be here today, but anything and everything with you all is an experience. You test the limits of every space we put you in, and you taught me that day that they really don't call it Death Valley for nothing. After Death Valley, you were a part of that middle school team that gave Equipo its first 5-star rating in 2019. Nobody thought you could do that, and no other middle school in East Vegas had done that before. But you did. I still remember Hansel and one of his 15 laptops, buckling down, too soon? Buckling down and taking each one of those SBAC tests, MAP tests, and WIDA tests. That wasn't a coincidence, Mrs. Narrows, that Hansel was in my room for every test, was it? But you worked so hard. And as high schoolers, you have been the most unique role models for your siblings and for the middle schoolers who followed you. From Juan, who recast that Yeti mascot from a fearsome mountain brute into an intellectually curious playmate at assemblies, to Eileen, who literally took in my precious little Yeti dog whenever I needed a responsible caretaker over the summer. Yeti says, congratulations, Eileen. I remember getting lost in downtown DC with Hayden's crew. We ended up at a Chick-fil-A just before midnight, debating essential life questions like, waffle fries or curly ones. And I'll miss the performative troublemaking at Isaac's lunch table. I think they just like the occasional thrill of getting sent to a timeout at age 18. I enjoyed teaching that math class last year, Joel, as much as Brandon enjoyed making barn animal noises from the back row. And I will treasure the moment Denilah texted me that she had gotten into Middlebury, and then when she told me she was going. My first advise you to go there, and I hope it means as much to you as it meant to me. All of you, you are all as fun and special and unique in 12th grade as you were in 6th. You all are an experience. Never lose that. And make sure to thank your parents for that. Because parents, something that I don't know if you know, but to have 100+ young people before us who, as Jason says, are just totally unique and unabashedly themselves. You made the safe homes. You all were the supportive people who made it possible for them to be so amazingly individual. That's pretty, that's new. You all as families are the reason that so many of their biggest dreams, when I ask them about them, are to be able to have their own families one day as amazing as yours. I think it's really special that when I've asked so many of your kids about their future, they talk about colleges and they talk about careers, but they really light up when they talk about the people that'll be in their future. When they talk about the kids they dream of raising, when they talk about the life partners they're going to have, and when they talk about the colleagues and the customers and the constituents in the world that they're going to be leading. Your families must have done so many things so well because so many of you see building your own families as the biggest prize and the best chapter in your road ahead. May those lives, may those families, may your communities, and may everything you do be filled with all the amazing experiences you brought to us these last 7 years. So with that wish, Mr. Board Chair Gonzalez, Ms. Garcia, I have said my final words, and I want to present to the Board of Trustees now our candidates for the 7th edition of our Equipo Academy diplomas for the 7th graduating class, the class of 2024.